Hi everybody, so as I've recorded this video, I managed to reach about, I think, level 15 on the Xbox beta for Call of Duty Vanguard, and I think on the PlayStation 4 I got to level 10, so I think I've got enough time in-game to share my final impressions of the new Call of Duty before we look forward to the launch and kind of maybe answer the question about whether you should pre-order and buy the game. Just bear in mind that the gameplay footage you're seeing in the background, that's from the Xbox Series S, that there will be improvements in the way it looks and in everything before release. And a very important thing, and this really applies if you've played the beta as well, is that on release and then at Christmas there'll be a much broader spectrum of players in the game with lots of different player skills. Because in these betas you find a lot of people are playing who are into COD and they've pre-ordered it. And they tend to be a bit tasty at Call of Duty. Whereas when the game comes out full, you get a lot more average players like myself playing, which means that the game can be a bit easier. So, my final impressions from the beta are that I think this year's Call of Duty, 2021's Call of Duty, will be a good multiplayer. Can't comment on the campaign or the zombie because we haven't had a go. However, the Vanguard beta didn't wow me in the same way that Modern Warfare 2019's beta did, or Cold War's beta did. But once I got a good grasp of the guns in Vanguard and the maps, I did have a good time. So for me, Modern Warfare 2019 was going to be the Call of Duty I probably wasn't going to buy. I kind of had enough. I was really enjoying games like PUBG, DayZ, and I was like, no, I've had enough. We had Black Ops 4, which I felt was a bit of an incomplete game, and I thought, no, this is it now. I'm kind of done. I won't be getting any more of the Call of Duties. And then I played the Alpha, which was Gunfight, and I thought, ooh, this boots on the ground stuff is pretty cool. And then the beta, and I was like, wow, this is me. This is brilliant. I enjoyed it, and thoroughly enjoyed Modern Warfare 2019. Played it through for the entire year, and then when Cold War came out, I really like Cold War. In fact, now I enjoy the multiplayer in Cold War more than the multiplayer in Modern Warfare. So that's where I'm kind of coming from, and I think if you're that sort of Call of Duty fan, where you don't mind the different versions of Call of Duty that we get every year, then I think you're going to enjoy Vanguard. Now, I didn't like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the super futuristic one. I did enjoy Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, where they introduced booster packs for the first time. I enjoyed Black Ops 3, where we had double jumping and wall running. I enjoyed Call of Duty World War 2, although the maps were too small. I thought it had an amazing campaign and the multiplayer was okay. They tried a lot of different things in that. I liked the multiplayer in Black Ops 4. So, I'm fairly easy when it comes to the different types of COD that we get. And for me, I will definitely be pre-ordering Vanguard and playing it on release on the 5th of November. So let's go into a little bit more detail. So I think this is a great era for Call of Duty. We had the resurgence after the kind of what I felt were the kind of missteps with Black Ops 4. Now, we can't completely blame Treyarch for that, because they had to make that game very quickly. They had to dump the campaign, and there was an awful lot of remastered maps in it, but that isn't always a bad thing. But then we had Modern Warfare 2019, which brought back millions of players to the franchise. We had Black Ops, which I think is one of the best Call of Duties there's been, and now we're going back to the home of Call of Duty. We're going back to World War II, and I think what we're seeing here is Activision putting a lot more resources into their studios so that every year they can bring out a proper Call of Duty with multiplayer, a campaign, and then a zombies or a special ops package as well. And it's all supported by, they're more expensive on next gen, but you now have the battle passes rather than the season pass, so everybody gets the maps, which I think is a very, very good idea. Now let's talk about Vanguard. Now, as far as the game looks, I think it looks good and runs good on next gen. I felt that it didn't always run that great on my PlayStation 4, especially when there was lots of particle effects, lots of smoke and explosions going off, but I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. It sounds okay. the weapons are good, but they don't have the punch that Modern Warfare and Cold War weapons have. It almost feels like almost all the weapons are fitted with a silencer. You know, they've got that kind of pop gun sort of feel, which was a problem with Modern Warfare. That was a problem with COD World War II as well. As far as the maps go, we got to play 4 maps. There was a Pacific one, Garuka, I think it was called. Red Star was the Moscow one in the snow. Eagle's Nest was the one like Hitler's house, like the Berghof type thing, and Hotel Royale in Paris. And I think the Hotel Royale one, that was the weakest map. Very, very chaotic, but I think that might be down to the numbers, because I think before launch, Sledgehammer have really got to sort out balancing the numbers of players on each map. And if you're not familiar with it, what happens now, we have different options of numbers that play. Well, we don't, the game gives them, but there's like, I think it's 6v6, 7v7, we've got 10v10, 14 versus 14, and I think I played in a 20 versus 20 match at one point. And what I was really looking for was, on like Hotel Royale, which is inside most of the time, I was really looking for a 6v6 or maybe a 7v7 experience. I felt that map could support that. Whereas on the, I think it was the Garuku map, the Pacific map, I was really looking for a 10v10, to fill the map out with less players. It felt like a little bit empty, and you were running around trying to find enemies. Red Star's another big one. Eagle's Nest could probably do like 6v6, 7v7. Maybe, yeah, that's probably about it. Especially for the tactical game modes, like domination and things like that. And what you've got here with the maps, these aren't Treyarch maps. And sometimes I think that Treyarch should do an instruction manual for all the other that Call of Duty develops, and say, look, this is how you make a good Call of Duty map, because the mistake that lots of them fall into is they make the maps too complicated. Now, that's fine when you've got a limited number of maps. So, for example, with Modern Warfare 2019, lots of people on launch said these maps are too complicated. There's too many sight lines, there's too many windows to peek through. And that was true, but because there was a limited number of maps, you could learn those sight lines fairly quickly. But then as it went on through its life cycle, Modern Warfare, and you got all these extra maps coming out as part of the season updates, and not all of them were great because they're forcing them out, you then end up with a lot of complicated maps that are difficult to learn, and you don't play them enough to learn them. Where with Treyarch maps that come out, pretty much if a map's been made by Treyarch, even if you haven't seen it before, once you jump in and maybe have a look at the map in the pause screen and run around for a few minutes, you'll probably have a good idea of how it works. And that means that when new maps come along, you can pick them up and you can have a good time playing on them. So we're going to have to watch out on launch, because I think it's coming with like 16 maps, Vanguard. But I think they're going to be complicated Modern Warfare style maps, large maps, rather than the more simpler Treyarch ones. What is very positive is that they're large. And the big problem with Call of Duty World War II was that although I felt the gunplay was great, the maps were way too small. The good maps in World War II were like the Carrington map that they released, which was great because it was a bigger map. And the Battle of the Bulge map, which was a bigger map, and they were great because there was more space to kind of move around and do stuff. Because at the moment, especially with all these players on these maps, they do feel a little bit hectic, a little bit chaotic, and a lot of this might be the fact that people are still feeling out the maps. We don't know the flow of them, we don't know the power points, where the head glitches that mean that when you're playing a game like Domination, that you can set up those lines of sight and kind of defend and attack rather than just kill, die, all that sort of stuff. What is true is that at the moment the game definitely has a very fast time to die and a slightly longer time to kill. Now, what that means, you might think, well, aren't they the same thing? Well, not really. So you'll experience this, when you're aiming at someone and you're firing at them, and it seems you need to use a whole clip to kill them, and yet when someone's firing at you, you die really fast. And it's important that these times come closer together. And the reason why they're not the same is because of things like lag, network lag, and ping, and things like that. And the closer together you can get them, the better the experience is, because it means that you can be in situations where you start getting shot, but you can still spin around and kill someone if they're not very accurate. But we'll have to see on launch how that happens. Again, it all depends on where the servers were for the beta, whether I was suffering from longer pings. It also very much depends on the guns. As soon as I sorted out using the Volk assault rifle, it's almost like a submachine gun, I was having a great time. Whereas especially with the STG, the slow-firing STG, it wasn't very good at all. Even the MP40 wasn't that brilliant, I didn't think, either. It was definitely the faster-firing guns. You had a big advantage, especially like the MG34 light machine gun as well. We've now got level destruction, which is interesting. So you can bash through these thin walls or shoot through them, or grenades blow them open, which is pretty cool. Gives you some different tactical choices for peering through holes and things like that. Now, one of the big problems this game does have, is an issue, is visibility. Now, this isn't as bad as the Battlefield 5 problem. You remember when Battlefield 5 came out, and still to this day, because it was a very good-looking game, and the maps had lots of stuff in them, and there was lots of smoke going off and explosion and dirt and bits in the air. Often it was very difficult to see enemies. Now, and it does happen in Vanguard as well. When all the explosion going off, especially on my PlayStation 4, the last gen version, it was difficult sometimes to see people. Now, this got better as I got more used to it, and it was nowhere near as the problem that you would get with Battlefield 5. But it's something to realise. And now, again, this is, it's a next-gen Call of Duty designed for next-gen consoles, so it has a lot more stuff on the map. So there's much more junk lying around. And that doesn't just affect visibility, but also affects things like where you can go prone, where you're trying to go prone and there's something on the floor, so you can't do it. It's nowhere near as smooth as the likes of Black Ops or even Modern Warfare. In fact, I would say that a lot of the movement, as you're traversing the map and going prone and doing that sort of stuff, it feels a lot more Battlefield than actual Call of Duty. So again, that's another thing to think about. Comments have been made that this is just it's a clone of Modern Warfare 2019 because it's on the Modern Warfare 2019 engine. No. Sledgehammer have definitely rebalanced the engine. We've got quieter footsteps. It definitely rewards a more aggressive style of gameplay. The guns are different, so yes, although there's some similar things like the fact that you can mount your weapons, and I guess a bit of the look of the game, it's much faster, much more aggressive than the Modern Warfare 2019 is. So in summary, for me, after playing the beta for quite a few hours, I'm really looking forward to Vanguard and definitely be buying it. I think we've got another variation on the gunplay of Call of Duty, but I think that it's a good one. And I think we've seen, over the last couple of generations of games, and this isn't just Call of Duty but other games as well, is the way that developers and publishers react to player feedback is changing, and they do change things. If you look back to like Modern Warfare 2019 and the minimap debacle, where there was no minimap to start off with unless you put a UAV up, and then they went, no, everybody was like, no, you can't do this, and then the minimap came back. And also, I haven't really talked about in detail, but we've got Warzone, and the new version of Warzone that won't be coming out with the release of Vanguard, but will be coming out after it, probably with Season 1. And I think that's going to be interesting as well, because it will be the Vanguard Modern Warfare 2019 engine, which is significantly different to the Modern Warfare version of it. I still think it's a shame that we never got a Call of Duty Black Ops Warzone, because the movement in that I think is better than 2019. But Vanguard being in the middle, probably between Black Ops type of gameplay and Modern Warfare type of gameplay, I think it's going to put definitely a different spin on that. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to actually is having a Warzone without the heartbeat sensor. I hope they can't have it in. It's World War II. There was no heartbeat sensors. I guess they could have some sort of listening device, but I'm pretty sure hardly anything like that existed back in the 1940s. So there we go. Call of Duty Vanguard, looking forward to it. I think if you're a Call of Duty fan and you like different styles of Call of Duty, definitely buy it. Definitely pre-order it so you can play it from day one. However, if you're the sort of person who's very specific about their Call of Duties and you're not really a fan, then it might not be the right one for you. But I've got this sneaking suspicion, with the delay of Battlefield this year, going back to after COD, I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with Vanguard, and a lot of people are going to be playing it indeed. Anyway, that's enough for me. What do you think? Put your questions and comments down below, and I will see you again soon.
Charlie is overrun. Losing objective Baker.